Hi everyone, it's Shamila here, and today I am going to be trying to make something for Valentine's Day. So I thought I would share my process with you. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my canvas. So we go to the burger, which is the 3 lines on the top left, and drop down, and we open the canvas, and then I'm going to look for a project. So I really like Anna Griffin products and designs, so I'm going to choose her name, and then I'm just going to narrow down my search and say Valentine. And I love that card. It's a flip card, so we'll see if we can make this one. So as always, you can go straight into Make It if you want to make something, and here you can see which products you require. So what I normally do is I just make a note. So it says metallic cardstock silver, pattern paper pink, green, dark pink, light pink, and light green cardstock. So I may change those colors depending on what I'm going to use. I haven't decided yet. And then basically these are all just basic requirements. So I don't have a scoring wheel, but I use my stylus for that. So let's go into customize, because I find it's a lot easier to customize things the way I work. And so it will open up the project in on your canvas in Design Space. And what I have found was, if I go to make it, sometimes it's just a bit overwhelming for me. I don't know where to touch. So what I do is I kind of hide some of the things to start off with, so I can wrap my head around what's happening on the page, because at the moment it looks like there's so many things going on. So I'm going to hide all the embellishments, like the flowers and the leaves, and what else is here? There's another flower, and there's another leaf. So we've got that. If I go to make it now, which is the green button on the top right hand side, it's going to ask me, because I've got to make a 3, whether I want to use it with a mat, without a mat, or a little bit of both. And I'm going to be cutting on a mat. Now here you'll see that it has automatically separated everything into various mats. So we've got the grey, and we've got all the different color pinks here. So I'm going to do mine on a white card. So let's start with the grey. And if you look at it, you need a piece of cardstock that is approximately 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. And this is really nice, where you can actually use all your little bits and pieces up. You do not always have to put in a big sheet of card to cut one item. And the other thing is, you can actually move this around. So if you've got a piece of card that's already been cut, or you don't want to be cutting on the same spot all the time, you want to preserve your mat and make it last longer, you can actually shift that. And these markings around here is exactly the same like the markings on your actual mat. So let me grab my piece of grey cardstock and we can get started. So I started really unprepared with this whole thing. And I'm actually thinking I might want to do that in like a glitter card. So I'm going to choose, I've got some beautiful glitter card. So I'm going to try that with glitter card and see what happens. So my machine is now on, and I'm going to say continue. So I can load my paper or my mat. And we need to set, sorry, I've got a really squeaky chair, my apologies. So I am going to set my material because I don't have glitter card stock here. You go into browse all materials and I'm going to search glitter and let's see if it comes up, and there it says glitter cardstock. So I'm going to choose that and go done, and it will come up there. So I actually think I need a little bit more pressure, so I'm going to choose more pressure, and it says load fine tip blade, which is already loaded, and my light for loading the mat is now flashing, so I'm going to load my mat. It's measuring the mat length right now. And my go light is flashing, so I am going to go ahead and cut. Okay, so it did 2 passes through the glitter cardstock, and I'm unloading the mat. And it's a perfect cut. It's a perfect cut. I love it. Oh, beautiful. Right, next step is that one. And so I am just going to use medium cardstock because I'm going to be using American card, and I'm just going to put it on more because I don't want to struggle, and I'm going to be using American cardstock for most of the rest of the things. So I'm clicking the option to remember my settings, and let me find my pink paper. And once again I have an offcut from a previous project, so I'm just loading the mat exactly where it is on my mat, and we can go ahead and load the mat once again because it's flashing. And this is the beautiful thing about Cricut, is it gives you step by step what you need to do, so you do not have to think about much. It tells you what you have to do. This is a smart program. So it's going to cut my pink, and while the go button is flashing, so I'm going to press that, and while that is thinking, I am setting up my dark pink on another mat, so it does save time when you're making something with various mats. And there we go. That was really fast. I'm using a Cricut Maker for those who needs to know. And it was cut even before I had time to set up the second mat. So let's go for the next one. And that will be number 3. So I am going to place my scrap exactly where the heart is on my mat on the screen, because that, like I said, is exactly where it is going to cut. And the light is flashing once again to load my mat, and my mat is going in. And once the mat has been read and checked, the go button will flash, and there it is flashing, and we're going to go play, go. And it's cutting. done. Unload the mat and remove the cut. Oh, this thing cuts so beautifully. Right, so we've got another one here. This is number 4, and this is the base of the card. And I was thinking I'm going to use white, but I'm wondering if I shouldn't use... Yeah, let's go with white. Let's be safe. Now, let's just see what the size of this is. It's 18 by 29, so an A4 should be sufficient. You always just need to check and see if the cardstock is big enough. That's quite important. Just making sure that the card is stuck beautifully. And then I'm going to load my mat. But I do know that I need a scoring option there. So I'm already preempting what the machine is going to ask me. It's going to ask me to load the scoring wheel. So I'm going to edit my tools there because I don't have a scoring wheel. And I'm choosing a scoring stylus and saying OK. And I think my setting should be fine. I will just check it once it's cut before I unload the mat, and if it's not cut through, I will do another cut. So let's carry on. Mat is loading. Okay, I didn't load the mat properly, so I'm going to unload it and try again. So it's now measuring the mat once again. And we are going to press play. It is now doing all the scoring. So just remember, if you don't have a scoring wheel and you have purchased the Cricut toolkit, there is a scoring stylus in there which you can use. It's now cutting. And the A4 just makes it. It's a perfect size card for A4 cardstock. And I forgot to check before, but it's cut perfectly. Okay. I said I was going to check it before I removed it from the mat, but it's cut beautifully. Okay, let's remove it. Okay, and let's see if there's any more here. So that's done. So I'm going to click done there. And now I can actually hide all this. I'm going to say Command A so I can see what all has been selected. So we hit that. We're going to hide. Okay, let's just go there. And then if I highlight that, it will show me where it is on the panel here, and so everything is now hidden. Now I can unhide all my flowers, and I know this is a long way of doing things, but I find that this actually just gives me more control over what I'm doing, because now I can see exactly what I still need to cut. When I look at all those items on my screen, I kind of feel very, very overwhelmed, and then I just don't know where to start. So if you are anything like that, then yeah, this is how I do it. So you're welcome to give that a go. So if I go make it now, and I'm going to choose on a mat and say continue, it'll now put everything on its own mat, and you can now decide what you want to cut in which color. So let's start with the green stuff. So for that piece I need about an 18 by 6 centimeter piece of green cardstock, and that's the dark green. So let me see if I've got dark green here. And I'm going to say continue, and then we'll go medium cardstock. We'll say remember the settings. It's already got a fine point blade loaded, and we load the mat. So it is going to read the mat first like normal to see which length of mat we are using, and once it's done that, I'm just going to choose more for cutting and say go. Okay, that's done. Sorry, I want to look for offcuts. I don't feel like cutting up a whole full sheet just for a few leaves. And I'm just removing this off the mat. Oh, these leaves are stunning. And let's see, the second one, we need approximately 22 by 6. So I've got an offcut here which is more than enough, which I'm going to use. And the load mat light is flashing, and I'm going to load my mat. And we can press the go button. Right, the green leaves are done, and I just need to check how much space I need for this. So this is about 22, and now my cardstock, okay, I'm going to go edit there quickly. My cardstock is not as long, but it's got a little bit of space at the bottom, so I'm going to put that there. And I see it needs to come down a tiny bit because it's going beyond that red line on top, which is your cutting guide. And I'm going to say done, and now I can load my pink. And just make sure, I see my paper is not perfectly attached to the mat. You need to make sure that your mat is sticky, and that your cardstock or your medium that you are cutting, whether it's cardstock or vinyl, is stuck perfectly. Otherwise it's going to pull up on your underneath your machine, and that's just a messy applique. pressing play. Okay, my pink flowers are cutting. And so, okay, so I cut the light pink. And now the light pink has come up. I cut that in light pink, so it's going to have to be reversed. So, let's see. We're going to cut the light pink in dark pink. I don't think it matters. I'm taking artistic license in my hands. Let's get the next mat ready. And that's done. Unloading. Oh, it's cut so nice. Yes, it's cut. And we shall do mat number 4. And mat number 4 is perfectly placed because that's about 20, and I think 20 centimeters is about 5 by 7. So I'll just measure quickly to make sure I have enough. 20. Okay, so this flower, my scrap is not enough, so I'm just going to put this one here, and then I need, now I've got way enough. See, I wonder if I can't save card. Let's do this. That. I can squeeze this one in here somewhere, like that. I think that's gonna work. I have a little tail on my card that might lift, so I'm just gonna trim it off quickly before I load it into the mat. Otherwise, if it lifts, it's just gonna make problems. And now we can load. I can say done with my editing. So a ruler is very important when you're busy doing this, because you need to measure your offcut. You can't put a clean sheet in every single time you're making a project. I mean, that defeats the idea of using what you've got. So just make sure that your cardstock that you're using is big enough for the piece that you are cutting. And I've got a bin right next to me, so all this little residue bits on the mat that's been cut out, I'm using my Cricut scraping tool and I scrape it straight into the bin so that your desktop remains tidy and clean. And I am unloading, and it cut beautifully right where I want it to cut. And I think we are done cutting. So we go done, and that means that the light on your Cricut machine is going to stop flashing, and we can now go and assemble. I'm going to try and do it on video so that you can see how it looks when it's finished. Let's see. I'm going to stop my screen recording now. Oops, wrong button. So I found out that the white cardstock really didn't do well because it's already on my canvas. Let me just go back to the canvas. It is already it's lacking something, so I'm going to go back to my canvas and I want to see. So let's just hide everything else again so my brain can wrap around what I need to do. So I need to get the card back, which is that. And now what I want to do is, because I want to maintain or keep the white card, but I want to create an inset because I want to put pattern paper on the inside because the white just looks really bare. So let me just see now. Yep, I need to go the side. So creating an inset means we're going to have the paper cut on the other side, so it's going to be smaller than your actual card. So I'm just going to drag this past that line. Let's see, 0.3. Okay, let's go with 0.2 and see what happens. I don't know if it's going to work, but let's see. And so I can now hide that piece and just keep this one, and we can go make it. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to work. We'll see. Live and learn, live and learn. I don't know if that cut is still in there. Oh, there was still a leaf on the page, but that's fine. I just won't cut it. So let's say continue. We've got medium cardstock. Cut on more. Let's see. Let's go. Done. Moment of truth. We shall find out if it worked. So I'm cancelling all other cuts. We say yes and cancel, and I'm leaving it on my page in case I need to come back to it. Okay, so I finished mine, and only to realize that I should have mirrored it. So let's mirror this and then we can create another one. So we go make it on a mat, continue, and then at this point is where you are going to, on your left hand side here, there's a tab that says mirror. So I click the mirror option and we can now cut that. So I'm going to continue and get my pattern paper ready, and we are going to cut on medium cardstock on the more option. And once I've got my paper attached, I shall cut it. Okay, so I'm back, and I apologize, I forgot to switch on the recording to finish the card. So what I did was I added a piece of pattern paper there, and this is the reverse of that piece where I cut that out, and it will fit nicely on there. And then this was the piece that came out of there, and I attached it to that inside heart there. And this is what my card looks like at the moment. So I still have these left, and I was thinking of putting that there as an extra. And then because for the life of me, I cannot remember how this thing is supposed to be assembled, so I'm just going to do my own little assembly. My inclination is always to raise things, so I'm going to put that on a slightly higher foam tape, and it is a fairly flat one because I don't want to make the card too fat, if that makes any sense. Put a piece on that side, and we'll put a piece on that side. And I'm just going to center that there like that. And so now we've got lots of hearts staggering all over the place. I don't know if it's going to work or if it works, but we'll see. I kind of always find it very hard to follow instructions, so I'm making my own assembly. And so I'm thinking of putting that there, and then I remember from seeing the image on Design Space that there was like a flower in the top here. I think I'm just gonna snip that piece off. Yeah, I think that looks better. And then I'm just going to glue that down like that. So I'm going to glue the leaves to that, because I think it's going to be easier for me to manage it if it's a single piece. So now it's a single piece, and I can now put this whole piece. You create a cluster, and I put a piece of foam tape on there, and that is where I'm going to place it. Oh, there's my grandson coming. And then the same with this one. I'm also going to put that there like that. So I'm going to glue that one down there, and I'm not going to raise this one, just going to place it maybe like that. And I have created that there, so let's see. I don't think I need the tail. trimming that off. I think that looks better. And so that can go there. And where shall we put the butterfly? Possibly there. There or there. I think the butterfly is going to go there. Oopsie. Let's use a piece of tape. The glue does struggle to stick to that the glitter paper. So let's just use a foam tape. And there we go. That is, well, my version of Anna Griffin's card. And what I'm going to do is add some glitter and embellishments, maybe some pearls. I will see. And I shall post a picture of the finished card on the front page of the video. I hope you like it. I hope this made some sense to you so that you now can tackle a pre-made design in Design Space. It does look overwhelming, and I know I feel that sense of overwhelmness when I look at some of the projects, but break it down, hide some of the things, cut it in bits like I did, and let me know in the comments if this has actually helped you and if you want more of this kind of thing. I'm quite happy to oblige. And that's it from me. Until next time, happy Valentine's Day. See you in cyberspace. Bye now.